want you to pick a partner. It doesn't matter if you know this person or not, but pick a partner. Everybody has to have a partner. Link, maybe you want to come over here to call him. You know, you stand on the stool. Then you can be tall enough to do this. He's a big guy. Okay, everybody has a partner? People say to me all the time, well, Gloria, I don't have miracles every day in my life, and I don't see Jesus Christ, and I don't hear him. And so today I'm going to guarantee that every single one of you will experience a miracle, and you will all feel the presence of God. Okay, I want you to each rub your hands together. And I want you to bring your hands together and feel the energy of yourself. You cannot see it, but you can feel it. When you start bringing your hands together, you feel a little bit of resistance. Does everybody feel that? You feel the warmth or tingling? And I want you to rub your hands again and put them towards your partner's hands. And I want you to feel their energy level. Again, you cannot see it, but you can feel it. Are y'all feeling that energy? It's warm, it's tingly. It creates a little bit of resistance as you're bringing it together. Okay, now I want you to rub your hands together again. I want you to put them like this above your partner's head. Okay, y'all got them there? And now I want you to drop your arms and hug each other, because you are feeling the presence of God and you're the greatest miracle of all. Alrighty then. And the fun begins. He looked upon it and he called it good. Okay, 14 billion years ago when he created me, I saw this vision 10 years ago. It was this golden sphere. On the outside of it was black spider webs. And I was told that everything that God ever created was within that golden sphere of light. And everything that was black spider webs on the outside of it was man's creation. And that's why I'm a healer, is because I dissolve those black spider webs, and then the reality, the perfection that he already has created, which already exists within that divine mind, is what manifests physically into the outer world. Okay, so because God created everything that is, and so long ago, I don't have to think about what I need, what I think I humanly need, because in that moment of creation, he created everything, every single shirt I'll need, every house I'll ever live in, every bite of food, every bit of abundance that I need. My health has already been established within that creative divine mind, and he knows what I need far long before I ever could try and figure out what I need or what I think I need. So when I write my books, see, the song wrote itself through me in about 10 minutes. My books, the Go Within or Go Without, wrote itself through me in 24 hours. The fairy tale book, every fairy tale I've ever written, takes approximately 15 minutes. As God Is My Witness took 18 hours. My new book, The Reluctant Messiah, A Message of Hope, took me 36 and a half hours to write. It's because it already exists within that divine mind, and when I have that awareness that it already exists and all I need is the awareness of it. And so when I plug into that divine source, it becomes physical through me. So I want to teach you guys today, that's one of the most basic elements of this teaching. It already exists. The health of a person already exists, and you just need the awareness of it. If your refrigerator broke down and you open the paper to see if there's any sales on refrigerators, and you notice that the paper is full of refrigerators, it's not that they just went on sale, it's that you just got the awareness that they're on sale. So it already exists. So I love it. The first thing I do after I get my husband and kids off to school is I say, God, how may I serve you? And then the phone starts ringing, or people end up on my doorstep and they either have a message for me or I'm there to serve them. I love to use this as an example. I had bought a car, a little Escort, and the intermittent wiper stopped working, and I took it over to the Ford company, and they told me that it was going to cost $600 to fix. Well, I didn't have $600. But I knew that I have to have that car to get out there and do promotion, so I said, fix it, because I'll come up with $600 somehow. And I needed to do so many errands that day, but I couldn't get away from the Ford car company. I was magneted to it. So I took my friend Nikki, and we went and did an errand. We caught a ride, and we walked back. And then I took her out to lunch, and we ended up back at the Ford company. And I thought, well, I'll take Nikki and go see a matinee, and there was no matinee that day. So I'm back at the Ford company. And I'm starting to get very anxious inside, and I know better, because I need to go into the light. I need to be at peace every moment of my life, no matter what appearances surround me. But I was kind of getting caught up in the moment of, God, I got to come up with $600, and I've got so much to do. When all of a sudden it dawned on me, and I said, sorry, God, I'm here to serve you. What do you want me to do? And I closed my eyes, and in the Ford car company, I did about 30 minutes of light work. And when I opened my eyes, there was a lady standing in the doorway, and I'd only met her one time, but she recognized me, and she walked over, knelt down, put her hands on my knees. She said, I just came from the doctor, and I've been diagnosed with terminal cancer. And I said, well, could you come see me Monday? This was a Friday, and she said, yes, I can. I said, forget it. Let's just do it right here, right now. And so we went into the children's section, and I sat in a child's rocker, and no, my feet didn't dangle. And right there in front of God and everybody, I did a healing on this woman. And after we did the heart-to-heart final hug, the final transfer of energy, I went back into the waiting room, and the parts manager walked in, and he said, Gloria, I did some checking, and the $600 is going to be covered under warranty work. And he said, by the way, a loaner card just came in if you're still interested in it. And you see, if I take care of God's business, he's going to take care of mine. So whenever you get caught up in that everyday stress or turmoil or humanly trying to figure it out, what you're going to learn today is that you stop immediately and you silence yourself. You say, peace be with me. Those are the only words you ever have to memorize of what I teach. You're going to walk throughout every single day of your life 14 billion times a day silently saying, peace be with me. If you're trying to humanly figure it out, you're under karmic law. We're taught that there's good and there's evil. There's hot and there's cold. There's health, there's illness, there's lack, there's abundance. And as long as you are ever asking God for anything of a physical nature, God's not getting that prayer. You are still under karmic law. And as a human, you might get what you're asking for, but you are not going to know if it turns out good or bad. If you ask for the presence of God, how many here know what I mean when I say the violet light? Does anybody here not know what I'm talking about when I say the violet light? When you close your eyes. Okay, good. Okay, we're going to practice today. When you close your eyes at night and you're ever laying there and with your eyes closed, you see little tiny pinpoints of white light like a Christmas tree light flickering. Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever seen pretty colors, green or blue or pink kind of floating? Okay, the violet light is one of those colors that starts floating, but the violet light is the healing state of consciousness. That's when the 110-volt U is plugged into the 220-volt divine mind, which is where the perfection is. Remember I said that golden sphere of light? If you see the violet, you are plugged into that perfection, and it travels through your mind, purifying it and manifest in the physical world as miracles. Okay? But under this karmic law, every day of our lives, until you become aware, today you're healthy, tomorrow you're sick. I don't want people to come to me. I did a healing yesterday, and the man was so wowed because this woman his wife had what's the bad headaches? Migraines for 20 years. 15 years on the left side, 5 years on the right side. After being with me, she walked out without a headache. And he was way wowed, and he said, God, I've got a whole bunch of people. They're going to be lined up at your door. And I said, please don't do that to me. I don't want people lined up at my door. I want them in a workshop. I want them learning how to do this. Because if you come to me today and I fix your broken arm, that's wonderful. That's a miracle. But tomorrow, if Gloria's out on promotion and you can't get to me, you've got to have this awareness so you can fix the next problem, because every day of our life we are constantly meeting those struggles under karmic law. And every day seeing that violet light is more important than putting your panties on. You don't need Gloria, you need the awareness, because you have to go out and start teaching your circle of friends and family how to do this. We talk about the insanity in this world, and it's never going to end. Our government is not going to fix it. The churches are not going to fix it. We as human beings don't have the power to fix it, but we as human beings have the ability to open ourselves to that violet light, to that presence of God. In the Bible it says, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all else will be added. Gloria's modern day version is, seek ye first the purple light, and all else will be added. The purple light, I call it the purple light because it brings it back to kindergarten level. I'm not religious. I am not New Age. I am a bridge between God and man, and I can't be lumped in either category because I will offend one or the other. I have to walk a very straight and narrow path. And when I say the purple light, people immediately go, oh, I can do that. I normally wear bells on my shoes. I will after lunch today. I become elf right before your very eyes. But a little 8-year-old girl walked up to me one day and she said, I know why you wear bells on your shoes. And I thought, how cute. She opened my book at random and read the story. She said, oh no, I read the whole book. In fact, I did a book report and I got an A. So So I called her mom and I said, did you know Mara did a book report? And she said, no, I saw her sitting on her bed reading it, but I didn't know she did a book report. I asked her, would you please go to the school and get it and fax it to me, because I've never been reviewed by an 8-year-old before. So across the fax, here it comes. Little child handwriting, and it says a book report by Mara Peterson. Book, Go Within or Go Without, author Gloria Benish. This book is about Gloria and her healing powers. Her powers can heal heartache, headache, rheumatism, even AIDS. A long time ago, Gloria learned, Gloria even helped heal the pain in a man's lungs one time. A long time ago, Gloria heard that every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. And she thought, we need as many angels as we can get. So she put bells on her shoes and went to do some errands, and the bells were ringing everywhere. I learned a lot from this book. I think it should become a classic. Okay, an 8-year-old understood it. When I was in Boise, I happened to look out at the crowd, and I looked at this boy, and I said, you've got a stomach ache. And he said, yes, I do. I said, you ate too much pizza for dinner. And he said, actually, we did have pizza. I said, would you mind coming up to the front of the room and let me heal you in front of everybody? Well, he was real thrilled to, because he didn't feel very good. And just before I started to lay hands on, I had the thought, no, ask a little girl in the crowd. So a little girl agreed to come up, and I said, rub your hands, and already I've told you where he's hurting, but I'm going to teach you throughout the night how to know where a person is hurting. But rub your hands, and since you know it's on his stomach, lay your hands on his stomach. Close your eyes. Tell me if you start to see little pinpoints of white light with your eyes closed. And she said, okay, I see them. I said, okay, now tell me if the colors start turning pretty. Maybe it's dirty green or dirty yellow or pink. And she said, okay, I'm starting to see the colors. I said, tell me when you see purple. She said, I see purple. And the little boy said, oh, my stomach doesn't hurt anymore. And I said to the audience, please don't make this harder than it is. Please don't make any part of your life harder than it needs to be. Okay, that violet light is the presence of God. Seek ye first that purple light, and all else will be added. Stay away from the karmic law. I had a woman call me, and she said, well, I understand why we don't judge things as bad. What you're learning today, you're going to learn how to heal human judgments of the law of duality under karmic law. And she said, I understand why we want to heal the judgments of negative things, but why would we want to heal or surrender the judgment of something that appears good? And of course, because under good and bad, you're still under that presence of the karmic law. All that God created in the beginning is good. It's spiritual good. It has no power for bad to hurt a human being in any form. But I said, let's just for a moment take, for example, winning the lottery. You would love to win the lottery. You would love to be a millionaire. And if you had all that money, you would finally have financial security and freedom. But now you've got all that millions of dollars, and now you've got people coming out of the woodwork asking for it. Now you don't know if those people are your friends because they're your friends or because they know you have a lot of money. Now the heavyweight, and it will be a heavyweight, is who deserves it and who doesn't. How do you as a human, not seeing the whole picture, judge what money is going to do good for people? Maybe if you give somebody money and lend it to them, they're going to go out and buy drugs. How do you know if you don't see the whole picture? So we as a human are under that karmic law, and we don't have the entire vision of what's good or bad for every soul. As far as healing people, I've only been told one time, back off and do not do it. A friend, I was making my son's bed one day, and the thought came through that she had a sexually transmitted disease. And my first thought was, wow, I'll just go into the light today and heal it. And Spirit said, you will back off. So as I meditated, I was told that this woman is a healer, that she had many people to affect, and that if I dissolved that sexually transmitted disease, she was never going to get on with her service. She had the thought that you could heal it for this, but not for that. She could help somebody else, but she couldn't help herself. And if I took away that gift, which was a blessing in disguise, then she would never get on with the destiny of the divine plan for her life. Later that day, Lois called me, and she said, I have bad news. I said, I know. You have a sexually transmitted disease. And she said, you know, you'll help me? And I said, no, I can't. And I explained why. Lois dissolved that disease within herself and went on to become an incredible healer, and has affected thousands of people's lives. If I would have taken it away, she wouldn't have done that. It's another good point for you guys. When they come to you, when people call, and you must discern, because there are many people that like to just come play with me because I'm fun to play with, I'm interesting to listen to, but I'm not serving them if I'm healing their situation and allow them to come back every day. I don't want to set up a healing center. I don't want to perform healings from morning until night, because I am not helping anybody. I am not helping their destiny. I am not doing the destiny for which I came. Jesus is my master teacher. He's a real cool guy. He's not like a hunka burning love or anything, but he just exhibits the best presence of anybody I've ever met in my entire life. He unconditionally loves everybody. He's got a sense of humor. He wears Birkenstock sandals that I can't afford, but he wears them, those Jesus shoes. Okay, when he came to me, because it says in the Bible that there will be those in the latter days who will come to profess to be the Christ. So these are the latter days of this century. And when he started appearing to me, and I said to him one time, well, how do I know you're really Jesus? And he said, how do I know you're really Gloria? He's got a sense of humor. He's wonderful. Okay, Jesus being my boss, in the beginning he taught me how to do this. But I knew that he must have had frustration, because back in those days, I mean, he said, these and greater works ye will do also in the Bible. And I had pondered for a very long time, what greater works than Jesus could you do? And one of the experiences that came to me, told me, showed me personally, this woman who was 8 months pregnant with a baby diagnosed with spina bifida and hydrocephalus. She lived in Montana, but she was flying to Chicago to deliver this baby. They already had a team of surgeons on hand to operate on this baby. Well, when she came to me, she said, I didn't tell my husband I was coming to you because he wouldn't believe in this. And I said, well, lucky for you, I'm not seeking glory, credit, thanks, or money, so who cares? You can tell your husband when this baby is born normal, we prayed for a miracle and we got it. I don't need that credit because it's not me doing it anyway, so just let's go for it. When I rubbed my hands and put them on this lady, I could feel that the baby's leg inside, because I am one with whoever I'm working on, I'm one with you guys today. I'm one with all that is, and I'll explain later today about being one with the electric company and the mortgage company. Everything that you meet during the day, when you become one with it, there's no more opposition or competition. The divine perfection manifests outwardly. But as I'm working on this woman, because I'm one with her and that fetus, I can feel that the whole left leg is wadded up. It's very crippled and deformed, but not only that, the left foot is pointing that way instead of this way. As I lay hands on her, I can feel my foot going and shifting until it's going straight forward again. Then the leg itself starts unwadding and stretching, and it's finally a healthy whole leg, and I can feel that. And then I laid hands on her back at the bottom of the spine, and she said, oh, that's where the doctor said that the baby's spine didn't close. And so I finished working on her. I told her, please go have this baby, but call me. I want feedback. If we didn't get it all the way in one session when the baby's born, I'm willing to do energy work on the baby. Well, she went back and had the baby, and not only was his legs fine, he didn't need then the braces, nor will he ever need them. The hole on the back was so tiny that the doctors waited a week and a half to even decide if they wanted to mess with surgery. There was no signs of hydrocephalus, but they put the shunts in for just in case. This baby is healthy. Okay, so that is a greater work than I never read about Jesus healing somebody that was pregnant. So I went, okay, that can happen. But as I'm talking to Jesus one day and I say to him, how frustrated you must have been back then. I mean, right now, I didn't want to go public because there are so many people to help. Everybody you meet has a problem on some level, and there's just one of me. And I didn't want to go public. I did not want people, still do not want people lined up for blocks to be in my presence. I want them to read Go Within or Go Without. They can do it. They'll demonstrate it. I want them in this workshop. I want to teach you people, because I don't need, you guys think you came to me, that you need me, but I need you a whole hell of a lot more than you think you will ever need me. I have got to have you guys teaching your circle of family and friends, getting this word out there, because again, our world is not going to heal from up here. It's going to heal from us being the grassroots foundation and having it rise, okay? But I said to Jesus one day, you had to have been so frustrated. Those people coming to you every single day in your face, hammering you, I want fish, I want loaves, I'm hungry, I'm hurting. And never one, he said, never one. He had 12 disciples, and they even couldn't grasp the whole message, but not one person ever came for anything but the miracle itself. They wanted the effects of his heightened state of consciousness, and I understand. You know, I really do. I felt very compassionate that Jesus was alone back in those days to do this. I'm not alone. I carry the Christ seed, so do all of you. I am no more special. I am not gifted. It's not even my gift. God is the gift itself that happens through me, and it's that violet light. And as I'm driving sometimes, I stop and I think, how do these people even manage their lives without this awareness? It has got to be such a roller coaster for people, you know, and sometimes God takes me back and lets me experience how other people live, just so I remain humble, just so that I remember where this source is and where it's coming from. I, as Gloria, can't even heal a headache, and I would never, ever assume that I could. I can't. I don't have that power. We here are not here to fix, change, or save anybody. I am not here to change your mind, beliefs, attitudes, or opinions. All I'm doing is sharing what works. The principle will demonstrate itself that I am telling you the truth. Are there any questions? Because I have to take a drink.
I love so much, and it's not in God's plan for this child to live. How you as a human can deal with that and just say, well, okay, Jesus, without your human part saying, I need to do more. Maybe if I do this or that, or, you know, how do you just offer it up and say, okay, well, if you want the baby to come to you, then so be it.
Okay. The only baby I ever did, other than the one inside, I knew he was going to die. He's the one in the book that I knew that his heart was a defect and the lungs were not fully developed. And I don't really even think about it as live or die. I just am the instrument. When I feel the shifts, I know that the divine plan will happen. And we don't get to put an expectation on how it turns out. I did a healing on a little boy. He was 10. He'd had cancer 3 times. Since he was 7 years old, he had fought cancer 3 times. When they brought him to me, in fact, I don't know if I want this part recorded. The next day she called from Shoto and she said, my daughter, 8 years old, had a dream last night, and in the dream we were told that Dustin would be healed, so we're canceling the CAT scan. We're heading to Stevensville. Well, as he was coming to me, I could feel my head hurting so bad, especially back here at the right bottom. And I knew he had cancer, but I didn't know where it was, nor did I care, because Gloria doesn't need to know. I just purified my consciousness with that violet light, and miracles happened. But when they arrived and I went to the car to meet him, he was in a wheelchair. His legs were paralyzed. He could no longer walk. So they brought him into my house in a wheelchair, and I discovered that he had brain and spinal cancer. But it was too painful sitting in my healing chair here, so we laid him on the floor, and I was laying behind him trying to get his pineal gland pumped up. The pineal gland is where the electricity comes in to feed this body and maintain it and sustain it. If it's blocked, death occurs because the pineal gland crystallizes and the light can't come through anymore. So I want to beef up people's pineal glands as much as possible when they're very ill. But as I'm laying behind him and the tears are just rolling out of my eyes onto the pillow and soaking it, and I said, Dustin, because I feel what other people feel, and I'm crying back here, and if you need to cry, please don't hold it back. I'll bawl with you because this hurts really bad. And he started whimpering, and he said, why would you want to feel the pain that I feel? And I said, Dustin, if I can help you carry it until I can get it dissolved, then it's less pain that you have to carry. And he started bawling and hysterically going, but why would you want to feel the amount of pain that I feel? It broke my heart. After that session, Julie called me and she said, when we got home from your house, I was rubbing Dustin's feet and he could feel them. He's up and out of that wheelchair. He can walk again. And they took him to a doctor in Montana and then up to the Seattle specialist. And the specialist said, I don't know what happened, but it's turned around. And do you need more morphine? And she said, no, we still have some, but we don't need it. And the doctor said, well, what are you using for pain? And Julie said, he doesn't need it anymore. There is no more pain. When I first started working on Dustin too, I said, you might fall asleep or start crying in my chair. A lot of people do because they feel so much love so fast. And he started crying, and he kept saying, I don't want to go to sleep, I don't want to go to sleep, and I telepathically heard because I'm afraid I won't wake up. Well, as it turned out, Dustin was doing so well that when Julie called me and I said, if he needs a second appointment, let's go for it. Call me, we'll set it up. And I had told him the first time also that when he started feeling better, that I would make him a steak dinner in celebration. And so when Julie called me the second time, she said, Gloria, I feel like we should bring Dustin back, but we're too overwhelmed. This kid was dying. We were prepared as a family to bury this kid, and he's not dying anymore. And I said, Julie, this happens a lot. I overwhelm her. The lady that I healed the baby while she was inside her will avoid me at all cost. If she sees me on the street, she will cross to the other side because I overwhelmed her. And it will happen. I frighten people. I don't mean to, you know, it just happens. But anyway, I said, Julie, I understand. Kirk told me I do overwhelm people. The miracles, your conscious mind, it's very difficult to accept that this could happen in 30 minutes. A lifetime of problems just dissolved, is gone. I said, so you take your time and you think about it. And when he's ready for that steak dinner, you just let me know. So I get a call a couple weeks later, and she said, we are going to bring him back for a second appointment and for the steak dinner. And when he came in my house the second time, he walked on his own. And he said, I feel like a totally new person. And we're sitting there having this steak dinner, and I said, so Dustin, are you doing your hands over your eyes and seeing the purple light every day? And he said, no. And I said, why? And he said, because I like morphine better. At that very moment, I knew he was going to die. And it was his choice. It was his choice. And I didn't like it one bit, but I can't interfere in the destiny of the soul. And he did die. He ended up going to sleep and not waking up. And it was very hard for me because I've only had 3 people in 12 years that chose that instead of the healing. But that's none of my business, nor is it any of your business. You are the instrument through which the light travels and how it manifests. I asked Jesus one time, well, how come most people are healed through me, but there are some who aren't? Am I not doing good enough? What's the deal? You know, if I need to be more open, I mean, I want to channel as much love as I can into this physical world. So am I doing something wrong? And that's when he said, no, you do not ever place an expectation upon that light. You expect a miracle, and that miracle may manifest as a person crossing over, and it may appear as cancer is dissolved in 15 minutes. But you're not the one. And he said, use yourself as an example when speaking before others. And I hate it when he makes me do that. But my first 19-year marriage, I was married to an alcoholic. It was a very painful, codependent, dysfunctional relationship. I was 80 pounds. I was anorexic. I had no hair. It was a very depressing time of my life when God called and asked me to do this. I thought he'd made a mistake because I was such a mess. How am I going to help anybody else when I'm such a mess? And of course the lesson was that we are one, and when I reach out a helping hand to you, it helped heal me. So my strength came in helping others, and that helped me as well.
I have a question. Does that mean you believe? Because see, this is my confusing part. Do you mean when you got that message from Jesus, do you mean that you absolutely believed, or did you
Believed what?
believe that you were going to heal yourself? I guess
No.
this is the confusing
No.
part. There's no belief.
No. I really wanted God to just go away and leave me alone because I thought he had lost his mind in asking me to do this. I was the world's largest chicken McNugget. I was not religious. I thought that you had to be religious for God to come work through you. And
Or
I was
believe
married
in
to an
something.
atheist. I did believe God existed. That was as real as, well, I know UFOs exist. I know the sun's going to rise. I knew. But see, my perception of what God was sitting out there on that cloud and judging me. And I really didn't want any part of that. But that's all the religion that I knew. And so that's what I was basing it on. And I said to him when he asked me in 1985, his actual voice broke through the physical barrier of time and space, talking aloud. And when he goes, Gloria, and I go, what now? God, I hate that when that happens. But when he asked me in 1985 to write a book to awaken millions and millions of his children from their past slumber of negative beliefs and fears, healing the minds of mankind, I didn't have a clue what that meant. And I said, you of all people know what happens to messengers you send into this realm. Excuse me, but I'm busy, I'm raising kids, go make somebody else's day. I really didn't want any part of it, but it kept happening. I couldn't stop it. I would taste and smell purity, and people were healed through me. I really didn't want to play. And even up until 2 years ago, I didn't want to play. It just kept happening. It's not like, I kept writing the books because Jesus said one time years ago, start writing down your experiences. And I said, what, you think senility's going to set in early on me? I won't forget, I'll always remember. And he said, just start writing them down. And when I did, the books began. Okay, but I resisted, I struggled against it, I did not want it, I didn't understand it, and I didn't have anybody to talk to about it. None of my friends were talking to Jesus or seeing him. I would walk down the hall to go to the bathroom, I'd see him standing there, he would tell me what to do, and what to say, and it always worked. A miracle followed, which is lucky, or my family would have locked me up and thrown away the key. But I didn't want the job. And until 2 years ago, see, I didn't want people to know that I could do this because then they were going to be in my face. And I had a busy enough life. I mop floors and I do laundry and I take care of 4 kids, and I have a busy life even without this. But all of a sudden my phone's ringing 40 and 50 times a day, and I'm writing books, and I'm the publisher, and I'm the ordained minister, and I'm the accountant, and I'm everything, you know, so it was like overwhelming to me, and I knew that if people knew I could do this, that they were gonna just flock. And I don't want people flocking to me. They don't need me because I'm not any more special than they are. If they can see the violet light, they can do exactly what I do. And they'll start seeing Jesus or their master teacher, but they don't need me. Did I answer your question? Because I really did not have faith in the beginning. It took no faith on my part. There's so many skeptic stories. I love skeptics. I was one.
Because I grew up in the church and you're taught to have faith.
Right.
And so what happened when my life became really traumatic all my life, there's no faith.
Right.
So like as you speak, yes, I believe you, but no, I don't believe in the miracles because there's no.
Okay. You will before the end of the day. You will.
You see, that's just why I'm saying you had no
right. I had
belief that
no.
you just
No.
did it.
No.
Okay.
And like I said, I love skeptics because I was one. And I want you guys to discern. I don't want you to just believe everything you see and hear and read. What I teach is what has happened through me. It is a demonstration of the truth as spoken through me. But I don't want you to just buy into everything everybody says. I want you to use discernment. I do not want you going out there and paying $1,000 to spend a day with somebody, which is none of my business. If you have $1,000 to give, that's your right. But you can get it freely. You can plug in and get it direct, and then you know the truth. You don't have to listen to me or go to somebody else, and that's what I want to do is empower you to get it direct, and that's what you're going to learn today. And then there's no more questions. I'm going to teach you today how to become more telepathic and more intuitive so that you know. You don't need somebody else telling you what to do because you will know yourself, and you will know it today. You will feel it and experience it today. The reason, though, I love skeptic stories, there's a couple in my book, but I was up in Spokane. Last year, I went up there every 2 weeks, and I did private healings for 3 days in a row. Well, this one day, I walk into the room, and there's an older man sitting in my healing chair, and I say, is there something in particular you need help with, sir, or would you like an overhaul? It comes highly recommended. And he said, I don't even believe in this bullshit. I don't believe you can do this. I have hurt my whole life. The doctors can't help me. My daughter forced me to come, but I don't buy this for a minute. And I said, well, that's all right, sir, because all you have to do is nothing. And all I'm going to do is love you more than you've ever been loved before in your life. So 20 minutes later, I say to this man, sir, because we're one, and I don't feel any pain in me anywhere, there's no pain in you, right? And he goes, right. I said, well, I'm pretty sure I got it all dissolved, but if, for any reason, any of this pain returns, because I'm so telepathic, once I've seen you and you think about me, I get a tone in my ear, I get a picture of you in my mind, and I know that I need to plug in direct to the source and get energy to you and help you. So I do this long distance every day at noon and 10 p.m. every night for long distance healings. I do it during the day if people reach out and I'm not plugged in, but I go out of my way at noon and 10 p.m. every day to be there and do absentee healings on purpose. So I said, if you ever need me again, all you have to do is think about me, and you'll plug in, and you will get your healing. And he said, Gloria, I'm going to think about you at 2, 4, 6, and 8. I'm going to think about you for every single minute for the rest of my life. And I said, and I love skeptics because he felt it, he experienced it. And that's what you're going to learn today, too. You will feel the presence of God. There will be no more doubt in your mind. The reason that we get stuck in those patterns and those ruts that we can't get out of, and no matter what we try to do, and especially those things we hate the most, they're in our face. And the longer you resist it or judge it as bad, it's going to be in your face because it's there as a tool to help you surrender that judgment concerning it. And the only way we can do that is by bringing the violet light in and surrendering our judgment of the law of duality. What you're learning is that violet light is the law, the spiritual law. In my home, You have to eat all your vegetables. You have to do your homework before you can watch TV. You cannot pick up your sister and slam dunk her into the ground. There's no fighting, no biting, no scratching, no kicking. That's Benish law. Karmic law is the law of good and bad that we automatically, every single one of us as a soul, agreed to come and live under until we could rise above it. The reason Jesus could perform so many miracles and be who he was and walk on water is because he broke karmic law. He no longer feared that he would sink if he walked upon the water or drown. He had no more judgments against the water. Okay, he had no judgments about anything of a man-made nature. When you seek the violet light, you are seeking the spiritual nature which already exists within that divine mind. When I was looking at my son one day and he was being such a butthead, I could not stand him, and I said, God, how can somebody living in this house that is filled with so much love be such a butthead? He had such a negative attitude. He hated everyone and everything. He was not fun to be around. He was 13, and you know, you hear about all those teen years. And so as a mother, I could have been in conflict with him, yelling at him, you get in there, clean up your room, you do your homework, yada, 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 on and on and on. It wouldn't have done anything but created more negativity and resistance in my home. So I know the answer is within me. He doesn't have a problem with his attitude. I do. So that's the only place that can be healed is within me. So I went and laid down on the couch and I said, God, I know that DW is your son. I know that intellectually, but I need a conscious awareness of his divine nature. I'm asking for that shift in perception so that I can see the child you really created, because I can't do it humanly. Just like cancer, I can't heal cancer humanly, but if I connect to that violet light, the divine nature of that person is what is expressed through my consciousness, and the miracle occurs outwardly. So I'm looking within for the healing, not trying to fix the outer world. So when I asked for the divine nature, the consciousness of his divine nature, and I felt a shift, and I'll teach you later throughout the day about the shifts and electrocutions that will happen through you. But when I have that shift, DW overnight started getting good grades, started hanging out with healthy-minded children. He picked up his room. He came home without being asked and split and chopped and stacked wood. And he was nice to everybody in the house but his sister. But that's okay, because that's her problem, not mine. I'm kidding. Anyway, but all that shifted on a level of consciousness. Rather than trying to fix the physical, we rise above it. We break that karmic law. It's not bad if DW's a negative butthead. It's not good if he's nice. Peace be with me. When you reach that level of peace concerning whatever in your life, whether it's person, place, or thing, you will experience a miracle in your outer world from it. In fact, I went to get DW and a friend from school one day. They climbed in the back seat, and I heard DW say, I don't feel like going home and sitting on the couch and being a couch potato and watching TV. Let's go out and do a random act of kindness for the community. I go, what did you do with my son? It was real alien to me to hear him say something like that. Okay, so we never want to try and fix, change, or save anybody. If you do, you don't have the bigger picture for one thing, and it's not your right. We're not here to fix, change, or save anybody. So all of us who are light bearers are codependent. I'm an overcoming codependent. I could have never said no to save my life. I had a lady who was going out as a healer, teaching seminars, charging $1,000 for the day, but before she left it, each time she called me for energy first. And the first 2 times she called, I said yes. The 3rd time I said no. Let the people that you go to speak to and learn from, let them demonstrate it. And I mean to tell you, I've been tested for 12 years, and it gets a little old, but I understand that I need to continue to show the demonstration of it to make you aware that I'm not a fraud. I am not a fraud. I love you guys with my whole great big heart, and I always say that first thing, you guys are going to absolutely love me today, and then I follow it, but not half as much as I'm going to love you. And those of you who have been touched, I almost felt weepy because I just felt so much love for you. Because I perform miracles, that I'm a better human being. I smoke and drink and cuss. I have sex, lots of sex. I eat meat. You are not being asked to give up anything that you now presently do, except the judgment that it has a power for good or bad, because God is all that is, and there's not a power in God that can hurt you. If you take that into relation to your food, your cigarettes, your alcohol, we talk about balance. The violet light is the straight and narrow path that we walk. I call it the balance beam because if you go either or, you're going to fall off that balance beam. But if you walk with grace, which is the power of presence, one power, one presence, one experience, when you walk that balance beam with grace, you walk with one power. When I do healings on people, the moment that I find out that people need help, I silently say, peace be with me. Remember, that's the only one thing you ever have to memorize. A man, Gary, from Boise, found an outdated flyer of mine and called to come for a private healing. In 1992, he'd been working for the electric company. There was a man-made error, and 2,500 volts of electricity went through him and killed him graveyard dead. He got a second jolt, which restarted his heart. When the energy, however, exited his body, it blew out the back of his head, the side of his face, his lower spine, and a place on each leg. When he walked into my house, 6'3", with a cane, it was a very frightening picture to see. They were doing skin grafts still. The back bottom of his head was blood raw. He had balloons under his scalp trying to stretch it as they were skin grafting, and big patches on his arms missing where they were trying to put this other skin to put this guy back together. In 1992, when he first awoke, his mom was sitting by the bed. His first words were, "The sons of bitches didn't get me, did they?" He said, "I have no clue who I was talking about even." He said, "But I woke up with a very strong desire to help heal people, but I didn't even have a clue how to help myself." And in finding this outdated flyer of mine and ending up on my doorstep, and 40 minutes later, this man walks out of my house with no pain and no cane. But before I started working on him, my first thought was, wow, this is a biggie. I don't know if I can do this. And I was right, because Gloria doesn't have the power to do anything. But God is unlimited. That violet light is unlimited energy. And when I laid hands on top of him, silently said, "God, I am here, peace be with me, use me." And 40 minutes later, he walked out swinging his cane. Okay? So whenever I get scared, I may have to chant, peace, peace, peace be with me. I'll ask for nothing more, but I will settle for nothing less. Through having a peaceful state of mind, miracles happen. Okay? So every day in your life.
When you're talking about like doing smoking and talking whatever, if the goal is to raise our body's vibration up, the higher we get, the better the communication or
Right.
anything. Don't you feel it stops it somehow?
Okay, no. I have no judgments against it, that it has the power to hurt me, because I see that as God. I see all things as God, an expression of God. What happens to me if I don't, in a sense, yes, you're right, under karmic law, it lowers our vibration. But see, if I don't numb some of that, I'm so telepathic, I'm so intuitive. If I walk into the mall and I just happen to look at somebody, I know their thoughts, I know where their pains are, I know whatever I want to know, and it's none of my business. So I smoke in order to keep me more earthbound so that I don't just ascend right here in front of you guys and embarrass myself. Okay, I have to have something that will lower my energy somewhat because, I mean, it flows through me so strongly. I mean, I've disappeared. You read about it in the book one of the times, but I was doing a healing on a lady one time, and right before I put my hands on her, I saw Jesus at the foot of the bed. And I went, wow, cool, you know, my bases are covered. Because I really liked it in the beginning when he was there. I felt more confident that it would be done right. And so when I opened my eyes from working on her, her eyes were big as saucers. And I thought, oh God, I mean, I don't think I could ever hurt anybody, which you can't. You cannot hurt anybody. You don't have that power. It's love. It will only heal. But my first thought was, well, maybe I hurt her. And then I went, no, I'll bet she saw Jesus too. And that's why the startled eyes. And so she said, Gloria, you disappeared. I opened my eyes as wide as I could, and you were not standing there. And I sat down on the bed next to her, and I said, thank God somebody besides me has seen this. I can vibrate so high, so can you. You will learn that today. You vibrate so high that you disappear. And there's a good reason behind it that you'll learn this afternoon. Okay? But again, it's not because I'm a good human walking around with a smile on my face. My hairdresser called one day and said, Gloria, what is your choice of drug? And I said, Rhonda, you know I don't do drugs. She said, but you're so happy all the time. And I said, I know, and so could you be if you would be willing to listen. And she said, I don't want to hear it. I said, all righty then. Then don't hear it. Okay, but you give up nothing in being who you are, except the perception that you're a good or bad person even, because you're a spiritual being already created within that divine mind. Okay? some things will start to gradually fall away. There's a lot of butt heads that have effortlessly, easily, painlessly, peacefully, and perfectly left my life. Certain things, habits, they will gradually leave your life, but without human effort. Because if you're trying to do it humanly, you're going to be under that karmic law, and you would need the will of iron to do a lot of the things that you think that you should give up. And if you're at peace with it, it will gradually just fall away. And the day that I know how Jesus walked among the masses and didn't know every thought, word, and deed of theirs, on that day I won't smoke either. But it will leave gracefully and effortlessly. Okay, so did y'all pick a partner? Okay, I need you guys lined up 2 by 2. Pick a partner, do-si-do, because here we go. All right?